Alright, here I am at the trail near Hope Park, the one that leads to the Narrows, in fact. And this is where, when I lived here in Orillia, I can't believe I can now say 20 years ago, I used to rollerblade along this trail, listening to the CD player and everything. And I came along here, it was winter, must have been early February of 2016, I think, and came along the trail that went to the Narrows. Now, of course, I'll do this trail and the one that goes between Hope and Couchiching Parks, just to cover it all. Here's a bit more of the trail, and we're approaching that building. Now, I have memory of this building coming along behind it on the trail, and I don't know if I heard the word fans or something. There's another poison ivy sign, just like before, because we were in this area a few weeks ago. Another summer day with no wind, and at least it's not 30 degrees, but it's still between 25 and 28, so that's warm enough. But that's okay, because once we get another month from now until Labor Day, we'll probably be wishing for the summer back again. But now that I've moved to the Creemore apartment, I will be away from the Highway 10 whiteouts and won't have anything to worry about. Now, of course, this is probably a much older building than I think it is, even though it's being worked on. Maybe they're turning it into a new condo or something like that. Boat storage leads up to the highway over there. Seem to remember that. There's the boat marina through the trees along the river that leads to the Narrows. So they have houseboats and other kinds there. I remember that from 20 years ago. Still weird saying that. 2005 is now as far away from me as the mid-80s were in 2005. And it was 40 years ago in about 10 days that I wrote my first journal entry. August 14th, 1985. The summer after I learned how to read and write. There's a nice view of the Narrows across the marsh. There's a view of the Narrows Bridge and Lake Simcoe beyond. And the marina and all the condos nearby. They're the best unobstructed view you'll see. And the big train bridge that comes over when trains used to come through here before they took up their train tracks. And now we start our return journey. So I will pick this up when we're beyond Hope Park, making our way through the wooded sections onto Couchiching Beach Park. Now, I don't know if you ever got this angle back in May of 24, but it's quite beautiful, showing the big tall trees and the Lake Couchiching beyond, because that's what that is. We're still at the far end of Hope Park. We're not at the connecting path yet, but we will be. Here's a nice unobstructed view of Lake Couchiching and the Hope Park Point, and the sailboats and the docks, and some big crane way out there that must be building something. Now, we explored that whole Hope Point the last time we were here in May of 24, so we don't need to do that again. Got to save room for the other connection anyway. Look, a little frog. Come on, jump. No? Oh, there you go, there you go. Well, here we are. No, we're not at the connection point yet, but we're approaching it. This is still Hope Park again. Here's a beautiful view across the Leacock Point. My gosh, look at that, a giant inflatable structure in the middle of the water. This is a 6-kilometer trail sign, but remember, that's 6 kilometers all the way up to Sundial Drive. We're not going that far, maybe half the distance at most. Here's a much better view of the inflatable water structure. Now we start along the trail, which thankfully is shaded, and there's the condo in the background. Like we're coming out of the shade. Probably going to end up at the right beside Asserley Road for a while. Here we are, another section of trail going past the Brewery Bay condos. And this route into Orillia, me and Mom always used to take. The Atherley Diner used to be called, if memory serves, the Grover Family Restaurant. Of course, that was 20 years ago. Here's an information sign to tell me where I need to be. So, 1.8 kilometers to get to the Port of Orillia, which is at the southern end of the park. So that's good. Here we are at the Forest Avenue intersection and the Leacock Retirement Home. So you turn south down, well, north down Forest Avenue, and that's where my friend Ryan lived during the Teletech years. Here's the factory I remember. Here's another info sign, only 1.4 kilometers now. There's the trail. So now we get into more shade, just as I'd hoped. Something I hadn't seen before. There's a little dirt trail down there, and all the times I traveled here, 20 years ago up to 18 years ago, never realized there was a little dirt trail down there until today. Look at this campsite. Little trails all over. If we can get a better view here, that's quite beautiful. Wow, look at that. He went by on his electric cart. Electric scooter. Now that we're in the shade, you can see how far into the distance the trail stretches. Well, here we are, some kind of yacht club or something. We're progressing along the trail. There's a beautiful archway view. Especially since the last time I was here in summer was 18 years ago. Glad I still remember. Oh, look, there's a little dirt trail in the woods too. Amazing, in the middle of the city there's bulrushes. There's the rest of the trail. Here we are. Millennium Trail, near where I first rollerbladed. And of course there's the skate park. And the Port of Orillia. And Breakwater. Here we are. And the big dock over there where the Island Princess used to be before they decommissioned it. You know, it must be this parking lot where we parked in '92, because we had a long walk along the boardwalk to get to our car after Canada Day celebrations that year. I guess we're near the end now of the trail and everything. Oh, look, a little bridge that goes right across to that almost floating platform. That's neat. And the Legion, yes. So I guess we're done for now. It's a good place to end it with those white birds there. So, bye-bye for now.